I did what any good appliance YouTuber would do. I went and got Chick-fil-A. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about this Samsung vented all-in-one washer and dryer combo unit. It's going to be a sad update, but this will be the final update on the Samsung vented all-in-one review video series. We're actually sending this unit back to Samsung. Don't let your imagination run wild. I had an issue with the vented all-in-one. I had error code HC2. They came out, they replaced a part on it. About a week later, the same thing happened. They said they'd like to get the unit back and investigate. They offered to swap it out for another one. You've seen my initial review on the vented. You've seen my 5 to 6 month update, and then you've seen my updates over the last few weeks. This update comes because of the last 3 weeks where we've had a little bit of issues. Samsung asked to exchange the unit. They said they wanted to investigate the problem. They came out one time, they replaced the harness. I wanted to check it a week later just to see how it was doing. And that connector just slipped right off that connection, and it's not supposed to do that. Make sure you watch this video all the way through. So if you've not seen any of my review videos before, let me just kind of start. Be sure you watch the step-by-steps on the initial, the 5 to 6 months, and the HC2 error code issues. Make sure you're watching the rest of those videos too, because you're gonna gain more into what this unit is capable of on there. I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys a proper final review video so that you knew where I was at. Inside of this machine, I have washed everything from regular everyday clothes, sensitive, delicate clothing, king-size sheets, gravity blankets. I've even washed couch cushions inside of this machine. I've washed super dirty clothes. In fact, I did the brake job on my Tundra. I threw them in there, no extra pre-wash, no nothing. They came out like 95 to 99% clean. I thought it was never gonna happen. Take that for what it's worth. I don't have video footage of that. I've washed small loads of clothes, large loads of clothes. I've pretty much used every single cycle on this machine. So after using both of these machines for the last basically 2 years, it really comes down to just a few cycles. Super speed, normal, steam wash, and heavy duty. Time to dry, product care. Product care is just to take care of the machine. You need to run that literally every single month with some sort of washing machine cleaner. Link in the description. I don't care if you buy it from the link, just do it. You can get it at your local Walmart, you can get it at other places, just please buy it. You will not. The product care cycle is so important for these machines. You have got to run it so it can clean all the stuff inside the machine so that it lasts longer. This vented machine uses considerably more power than the ventless machine, but there's a trade-off. This one does not require an outside vent. It also runs off of 120 volt. This one is 240 volt and requires an outside vent. Uses a lot more power. We've noticed when we run cycles like steam sanitize, this unit can get it done in like 2.5 hours. Throw your clothes in there, start the cycle, it washes, dries, steams, sanitizes 2.5, 3 hours, something like that. This one's about 5.5 to 6 hours. So you're saving like 3 hours worth of time. And you might be thinking, okay, well, this is double the voltage, double the time, it's the same amount of power. It is not. This unit is using like 3,000 to 4,000 watts, probably 4,000 watts, maybe more. This one is using 1,400 and some change. That's the most I have ever seen it use. And I have a kilowatt meter on it constantly. I don't know the exact specs. I don't have a meter for this one, but based upon the research I've done, it's like 3,000 to 4,000 watts. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but considerably more power for one of these units. So if you're trying to save a few bucks a month, this one is the way to go if you don't care if it takes a little bit longer. If you're doing a lot of laundry every month, you can really go through the laundry with this machine. The issue that I see, this one heats the clothes up a lot hotter. Fabrics get worn down more and more over time, and it's using more heat. Therefore, your clothes don't last as long, or they shrink faster. The ventless one doesn't do that. They don't heat up to nearly the temperature that they do in this vented machine. Down here at the bottom, underneath the left detergent dispenser, you know about the lint trap underneath. I've only emptied it one time in here, and it was right after my last video, literally like the next day after the last video. But I've owned it for 8 months. I've only had to empty it one time, and I owned the ventless one, and I empty it every like 3 to 4 months. It's probably like 50 to 60% less time of emptying the lint. It's not really a big deal to me. There are a lot of people out there that are required to have trays underneath their washing machine so that they don't damage anything like by code. If you have to have something like that, just keep that in mind. You're not having to go through all that hassle multiple times a year. The vented one, you will have to do it not nearly as often because most of the lint is just going out the back. As you've noticed on the ventless machine, if you've been watching my videos, I had an issue with a lint clog that happened in the top back of the machine. On this vented one, I just popped it open a few days ago and you could see like little specks of lint here and there, but I have not seen any clogs at all. I never really saw any extra clogs or anything. Good, that's really good. Because this was under warranty, I have really not done anything to this unit other than pretty much use it. In fact, the first time I'd ever taken the top off of it was literally the day before anything had ever happened. Like, I kind of smelled some burning smells. I don't know that it was from this. There was also a light outside that was from the electric company that was burning. I haven't smelled it. They replaced it very similarly around the same time. I don't know if that's coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but I haven't smelled it, but I was just curious and I found that wire burning too. In fact, there's a video on, I have a couple videos on the HC2. You should go watch those. From the research that I've found, it doesn't look like that HC2 error code is extremely common at the moment, but it definitely looks like it's a problem. Here's the good thing. I think that Samsung is good on finding the problems and finding the right solution over time. It doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect, but they can figure out how to make it better and then do that in the next revisions. And so that's one reason why I'm sending this unit back to them. Spoiler alert, I am not going to replace it with another Samsung at this moment. There are a lot of people on my channel that say that the GE one is better and the LG one is better, so I am actually going to go buy both of them. There's a couple of them locally where someone has owned them for like 8 to 10 months. They say it works fine and they want like a really cheap price for it, so I am actually going to go buy one of those. Tear it apart. Well, first of all, test it, see if it works. Then tear it apart and see where the clogs are, if there's any clogs, what everything looks like. I want to grow my subscriber base, and I think one of the ways I do that is to work on different types of machines so I can grow my subscriber base and reach more people to help more people. Ultimately, that's what this channel's for. I mean, if you really think that I enjoy just tearing these machines apart, if you only knew the struggle that I go through like on a week-to-week basis just to try to get some of these videos out for you guys, you would, I don't know what you'd do, but it's rough sometimes. In the beginning when I first got it, I had a lot of issues with the clothes coming out damp. They'd be dry on the edge, but damp right there in the middle. And I tried small loads, medium loads, large loads, different cycles, normal, heavy duty, steam sanitizer, like literally nothing mattered. I just continued to do it that way, and I ended up running a timed dry cycle like 30 minutes after that, and that would just dry my clothes. So it would get like 90% of the way there, and then I would dry the rest of the way. And a lot of people like that. They don't want their clothes to be damaged because of the heat, so they enjoy it that way. But my problem was I was putting the cycle on more dry, and it was still coming out damp. So I would expect that to be like on a damp setting, not the more dry setting. So I think there's some sensor adjustments that need to take place, or additional time, or more airflow that needs to happen in order to fully dry those clothes. Now, this was on a brand new machine. I tried everything to get the clothes to come out dry. They were just not coming out dry. And then somehow, a few months later, I don't know what happened. I thought it was a firmware update. Now I know it wasn't. They just started coming out dry. Not like a little bit, like fully dry. Just like you were throwing them in a regular dryer. And I went, this is awesome. They finally fixed the problem. It was just a firmware update. Wrong. About a month or 6 weeks, maybe 2 months later, I'll have to go back and look at the time, but 4 to 8 weeks later, I had error code HC2 on this washing machine, the vented all-in-one, and they came by. We got in contact on a Monday. They came by on a Wednesday. They fixed the problem. I think 6 days later, I opened the top to see how the issue was doing because I actually had a blue wire that was burning too whenever they first came. For those heater connections, they really need to be very, very, very tight and have a solid connection. The tech that came out, he was great, he was polite, he was kind, he was nice, he was like very informative on everything that I needed and very helpful. He replaced the wiring harness, he was obviously proficient in everything that he was doing. He swapped the wiring harness out, he made sure that that connection was solid. I mean, he absolutely tugged on that thing like 10 times and it was not moving. I mean, he had to force it on there. It was very tight. I know that he did nothing wrong. 6 days later, I didn't get the air code again. You guys know me. I popped the top off again. And of course power was off, so I was doing it safely. I noticed that the connection was like brown. And so I went to go look at it. And like literally I took my finger and it just like slid right off the connection. So what was a very, very tight connection was then just extremely loose. Like just you could shove it back and forth and it would just come right in and out of that. I did what any good appliance YouTuber would do. I went and got Chick-fil-A, filled up on some nuggets and fries, and then I went to work. I got my thermal imaging sensor out. I don't want to use the GUN word because I might get demonetized on the video. And then I had also an actual like temperature sensor pew thing. From the temperature sensor, not the thermal, part of the connection was getting to be close to 400 degrees. And then the bottom part of that same connector, 160 or 130 degrees. It was a huge discrepancy in that temperature. From the same connection, it's got this plate and it plugs up like this to 2 different connectors on the heater element. One part's 400, one's like 160. That doesn't seem right. It's just so off. Got to looking at the actual connection itself, and here's a picture of it, but you could see that it looks like at some point what appears to be a weld has happened, which means that it has a significant amount of electrical resistance buildup. Well, the more resistance you have, the more heat because it's not as efficient. Really the only way to fix that is to file that off or replace the metal. Well, it's under warranty. I'm not doing that, so forget it. You could forget it. If you're watching this and yours is out of warranty and you don't care about a warranty and you see the same problem and your power's off, I would suggest, if it was mine, you don't have to do this. I would probably file that down, maybe just a little bit, not a lot because you don't want it thin, right? Just knock that little bit off and then smooth it down with it. It's just a little bit of smooth, fine grit sandpaper just to get that metal re-exposed. Plug that connection in, make sure it's nice and tight, like just crimp it on there. That's what I would do. It needs to be a tight, solid connection. More surface area on that connector and that connection, the better. Ultimately, I think, and I'm not speaking for anybody, but this is what I would do. There was no fix and the only fix available was just to replace that wiring harness. I would do what I just told you with the connection, and then I would cut the end of that blue wire off. I would re-splice it, and I would use some sort of high temperature resistant nickel connector with some sort of like extreme heat resistant connection. Something that can withstand high heat and has good electrical conduction, because we want that 240 volt to just flow through there with low resistance. We don't want that heat buildup. I would also consider doing something like a heat shield around those cables, because right beside of it is literally where the heater connection is. And obviously there's an issue going on. So that's just my opinion. If I run across one of these on Facebook Marketplace at some point, I will probably end up buying it if there's enough room wherever we're living to do that without impacting anything. I'm gonna do that, put my fix in place and see how it does. So anyway, saying all this to say, this unit is gonna go back. That way they can diagnose it, see what's wrong, and learn from it. Ultimately, if they are learning from it, everyone that owns these will benefit eventually. Or new people, like the new revisions that they come out with, because they don't, like, this isn't going to be the only one that they sell. I'm sure at some point they'll come out with a version 2 or 3 or whatever, and it'll be the next latest and greatest, and then it'll just be even better. I want them to have my unit to learn from it. By sending it back to them, that frees up the space in my laundry room here that I'm filming from, allows me to buy another appliance, fill that same space, and help even more people. And that's what this channel is all about, is helping people. So that's what we're gonna do. Don't know what we're gonna buy yet. There are 2 other ventless manufacturers out there, LG and GE. A lot of people come to this channel and they say that the GE one is better, the LG one is better, and the Samsung one is better. Well, if I keep the ventless one, and I am, just put them side by side, let's see what happens. But right now, the only vented one that I can find from those 3 manufacturers on the market is this Samsung. They're the only ones that has a 240 volt vented system. Right now, it really outperforms the rest of them outside of the blue wire issue. I mean, I'll try to answer any questions that you have about it because I used it for 8 months. Any questions that you might have, leave me down in the comment section below. And don't forget to hit that like button for me and subscribe to my channel for more awesome videos just like this one. This will be the final update. I am going to do another video on that HC2 error. That will be the final update on that video, so make sure you are staying tuned and you're watching that video also, because it might get pretty interesting. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but I'm really curious to see long-term what comes from this swap out.